Alright, today we're going to be trying out Zorin OS. So now, in case you're unfamiliar, Zorin OS is a Linux distro based on Ubuntu that I've seen pop up on lists of recommended distros for Linux newbies, and I thought it was worth going over in this video. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so now the website is zorinos.com, and then when you get there, we're going to click download Zorin OS, and then it features Zorin OS Ultimate, which costs $39 US, and I'll go over if it's worth paying for at the end of this video, but for now, we're going to download Zorin OS Core, because I'm not willing to shell out 39 bucks just for the purpose of making this video. But anyway, we're going to click download, and then we can skip to download. We don't need to get emails from their newsletter, and then we go save the file. Now I've already downloaded this file. I've got it right here in my VMware folder. So now I've pre-made a Zorin OS VM, which is configured to boot up the Zorin OS ISO when it's booted up, but I haven't actually installed Zorin OS, so we're gonna do that together. All right, now it gives us this screen, which gives us different options. We're gonna try or install Zorin OS. Pretty intriguing boot screen. And then we're gonna go install Zorin OS. We're gonna select our keyboard layout. English US works fine for us. And you know what, we're not gonna participate in the census since I'm not planning on keeping this installed. Like, I'm gonna be deleting this VM right after I'm done with this video. So yes, we're gonna have all of these checked off. But anyway, we're gonna click continue. And you may notice that this looks a lot like Ubuntu. That's because it is Ubuntu with a different theme, different icon set, and different cursor. But anyway, I'm gonna go erase this disk and install Zorin OS. Click continue, then select our time zone. We are in the Toronto time zone. And then I'm gonna punch in my name. I'm gonna call this Zorin OS, then pick a password, then click continue. And then it'll go ahead and install Zorin OS. So now this will take a while, so I'll speed this up. Alright, now that our installation is complete, we're going to click Restart Now. And then we'll take a look at the OS. We're going to press Enter, and then it'll boot us into Zorin OS. Alright, now that we're in Zorin OS, the very first thing I'm going to do is open up a terminal. And the terminal actually looks nice, by the way. And then I'm going to type a sudo apt install open VM tools. I'm going to punch my password. And I love how it shows asterisks as you're typing the password, so that way you know that your keys are actually being typed. I don't know why Ubuntu and many other Linux distros don't do that. But anyway, I'm going to hit enter to continue, and then this should fix our scaling problem and allow us to see the OS in full screen. There we go. Alright, and now I'm actually curious what version of GNOME we have. By the way, this is the GNOME desktop environment. We are using 3.28.2, and I do wonder what release this is, like what release of Ubuntu this is based on. Do an lsb_release-a. The code name is Bionic, so that means this is based off of Ubuntu 18.04, so this is a bit behind. But anyway, I'm actually curious to see if I get screenfetch installed, what that'll say. I'm going to do a sudo apt install screenfetch. Going to hit enter. Alright, then let's run screenfetch. It actually gives us the Tux mascot, and it says that we're using GNOME as our desktop environment. And we've got Linux 5.4.0 7D generic as our kernel version. You can of course play with this on your own time, see what screenfetch says about your OS. But anyway, let's actually get out of terminal and go digging around the rest of the OS. Actually, the first thing I want to do is install these updates. So let's click install now, and then it's going to ask us to punch in our password. So now again, this will take a while, so I'll speed this up. Alright, and since we have to restart the system to apply our updates, we're going to do that right now. Alright, now that the system's rebooted, let's go digging around the rest of the OS, starting off with the Settings app. First, I want to look at Appearance. Now, let's actually change this background. Let's go with the Northern Lights. Select that, and same with our lock screen. Then I want to see what this Zorin appearance thing is. Okay, so it's basically like their version of GNOME tweaks. Now, if you like this Windows-like layout where everything everything, including your applications menu, your dock, and your clock, and your other items are on one panel, and where your applications menu is like a list, similar to Linux Mint, then you are good to go. However, I actually like this touch layout better. Now, if you purchase Zorin OS Ultimate, you can get even more layouts, including macOS layouts and Ubuntu layouts. And again, I'm going to go over whether that's worth paying for later in this video, but for now, we're looking at the OS. So now you actually get this full screen GNOME appearance, including the activities view. You know what, I actually like my title bar buttons on the left. So let's actually put them on the left. And I don't really like a lot of icons on my desktop, so I'm gonna leave this as is. Then when we go to theme, let's use the dark theme. Let's actually change our accent color to red. You know what, it kind of looks like I'm looking through a red tint when I'm using the system, so I'm gonna set my accent color to blue. And then you got different themes here and different icons. You can of course add more icons if you create a .themes folder for themes and .icons folder for themes and cursors. Now, if you want to change your cursor, you will need to install the GNOME Tweaks app, which is available from the Software Center here. And then, of course, we can change our fonts. You know, I'm just going to leave this as is. Change where the panel is positioned, among other stuff. You know what, I actually want my left super key, aka the Windows key, showing the Zorin menus, so I'm going to set it to that. For some reason, it's still showing the activities view. Yeah, I'm going to close this. Nope, that didn't apply. Okay, so let's actually go back into Zorin Appearance. I wonder where it went. Anyway, everything here is pretty much similar to what you expect for Ubuntu. Let's see what we got for privacy settings. I'd recommend turning on purge temporary files after 30 days. You know, let's go purge these temporary files now. And then I want to see what firewall configuration does. Okay, love how it has firewall configuration installed right out of the box. I wonder why Ubuntu doesn't come with this. So I guess it would be nice that you don't need to now go ahead and install it manually. What version of firewall configuration do we have? 18.4.0. This is still an older version of it. You know what, I'm actually going to turn off usage and history since I don't really like that feature. Just a personal preference. But anyway, let's see what we got for power settings. Pretty much what you would expect. Devices, yeah, everything here is pretty much what you would expect. And let's go to details. Very similar. I don't know why it doesn't show which version of GNOME you're using. Though I do love how it measures in gigabytes instead of gigabytes, which in case you're unfamiliar, gigabyte means exactly 1 billion bytes, and gigabyte means 2 to the power of 30. Not quite sure why we need 2 measurements for data storage. I think it just makes things more confusing. It would just make things a lot simpler if the tech industry could just agree on 1. But I guess since we don't live in a perfect world, we can't really agree on stuff like that. But anyway, since there's not much to see in the settings, let's actually look at the file manager. Yeah, the same file manager that you get on Ubuntu. Then let's go to software. Same software manager that you get on Ubuntu. And the idea is you just go ahead, find something you like, then click install. Now let's go to the application menu, or I guess they like to call it the Zorin menu, to see what other applications we have. Well, they have the Evolution Mail Client, and it goes into this setup screen. We don't need to go through that. And we also get Bracero, which hasn't come with Ubuntu for a while. Like, the only Ubuntu release that I know of that ships this is Ubuntu 8.04, not 18.04, 8.04, which came out in April 2008. And this is basically a CD burning program. I don't know why you'd still need something like this pre-installed, considering that nobody uses CDs anymore. And especially so when you can literally install it from the official repo if you're someone who still uses optical media. But anyway, if we look at our other applications, most of this is pretty generic. However, we do get GIMP pre-installed. Like, this is something that modern Ubuntu versions don't ship with. So I guess if you're a graphic designer or you're a YouTuber who uses GIMP to make their thumbnails, it's nice that you don't need to now go and manually install it. And you also do get Pitivi, I believe that's how it's pronounced. Like, this is a very basic video editor. I really cannot see myself using this to edit my videos. But anyway, we got some basic games pre-installed, like Mahjong, and we also do have LibreOffice, same as what you get on Ubuntu. But anyway, let's actually look at what we've got for utilities. We've got a backups application. This is the Deja dup backup tool, which is what you get on Ubuntu. And an archive manager, known disks, system monitor. I want to see what processes are running on the system. Kind of more on the heavy end of Linux distros. That may sound like a lot, but when you compare it to Windows that takes up like 2 gigs when sitting idle, it's actually not that bad. And we've got the Zorin appearance application here, weather, video player, very basic stuff. I want to see what the screenshot app looks like. Not too impressive. Image viewer, again, not that impressive. Though we do have Shotwell, which is another image viewer, I guess more advanced. Now, I wonder why you'd want 2 photo viewers. I'm not quite sure. And if we look in Sundry, we got a menu editor. I assume this is a la carte. Let's actually go into our system monitor and see this. Yes, this is a la carte. I know that it comes with Ubuntu 6.06, which came out in June 2006. Yes, there was a Ubuntu release that came out in June. And I think it comes with Ubuntu 8.04, though I might be wrong. Modern Ubuntu versions don't really come with a menu editor anymore. If you want it, you need to install it. And by the way, Remina, I believe that's how it's pronounced, is a remote desktop client. Again, another application that you get on Ubuntu. But I want to see what Zorin Connect is. This is, I believe, their version of KDE Connect. Yeah, like it isn't compatible with iOS devices, same as KDE Connect. I wonder why it stays open in the background though. Well, I guess that way you can sync across your devices, unless you use iOS, of course. But I'm gonna see what the text editor looks like. Yeah, same old. Terminal. It actually does look much nicer with the dark theme. But anyway, I'm done with this since there isn't really much more to look over, which is actually kind of disappointing. So we're gonna go shut this down, power off, and call it a day. Alright, now that we've taken a look at Zorin OS, I want to go over, is it worth paying for the Ultimate Edition? And the answer is no. Because really, the only benefit you will get from the Ultimate Edition is additional themes, which allow you to make your Zorin OS installation look like Mac OS or Ubuntu, which, like, first of all, if you want your Linux to look like Ubuntu, you should probably just go with vanilla Ubuntu. And if you really want the Mac OS look and feel, okay, if you're a tech illiterate person who doesn't know a crap about computers, sure, I guess. But in that case, you should probably go with a distro like Elementary OS. That would probably better suit your tastes in that case. But if you are even a bit tech savvy, do it yourself, man. Like, it's actually not that hard to just download macOS themes from gnomelook.org and then apply them. In fact, I actually made a video going over how to make Ubuntu look like macOS, and I'll link that up in the card. And another benefit to Zorin OS Ultimate is that you do get some additional software and games pre-installed, but you know what? You can install those yourself from the Software Center. Now, one other advantage to Zorin OS Ultimate is you do get installation support with it, which I'm not 100% sure what that is. Like, if they offer phone support, I don't know, because they don't really explain much about it. And while I don't begrudge developers charging for their software, I mean, hey, you can charge for your software and still have it be open source. But you know what? If you want your business model to be successful, in other words, you actually want people to shell out for it, you gotta offer something unique and not just a redistribution of Ubuntu with a few gimmicky features directed to new Linux users. But anyway, those were my first impressions on the installation and use of Zorin OS. So thanks for watching. If you liked this video, found it was interesting or helpful, hit the like button, share this video with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment.